To receive on behalf of Annie, who has passed, is a shirt-tail relative who was lucky enough to marry into the Alowa family. Please help me welcome Bill Dan.
Well, obviously I'm not an inductee. That's probably pretty clear. So first of all, on behalf of the family, we want to thank the Alaska Community Action Protection for the Environment Group for nominating Annie. I've been asked by her daughter to make a few comments. She was, as often happens, weathered in Savoonga with fog, and she arrived in Nome 10 minutes after the flight to bring her here departed. So she wanted me to, first of all, recognize Annie's family, the Akeyas, and her sons Julius and Timothy, who are on the island. So a couple other things that Christine, her daughter, wanted me to comment on is that throughout her entire life serving on behalf of the health of the community, she would always say to the kids, the health of the community always comes first. I was reminded by one of the members of the family tonight at dinner that Annie commented once, "I will fight until I melt in order to get the funds I need to clean up the island." And her daughter also told me on the phone this evening that shortly before dying she asked, have the Cape papers come for me to sign to get the grant to clean up the Cape. In addition to her accomplishments in the environmental arena, Annie was an accomplished skin sewer. Her dolls are legendary and included in this building. She was also an accomplished hunter. I remember first meeting her and hearing her stories of bringing down a polar bear, which I found rather remarkable. She was totally self-sufficient. I had the pleasure of meeting her as I was running the Regional Health Corporation, and Annie was a health aide at the time. And I just want to share with you a few stories because they reflect her amazing character. Those of you that have been around probably know that in those days, being a health aide was truly an act of courage. You had no training, no supplies, no space to work in, inconsistent means of communicating, and yet took on responsibility for the health of your entire community. And she was absolutely fearless in doing so. My first trip to the island, she found out quickly that I was there, took me aside and said, "I need to talk to you about your doctors." She said, "One came out here last week, explained to me that he was going to be leaving in 2 days, and I explained to him that I had 3 days of patients lined up for him, and you're not leaving till you're done." And they didn't. I would always get complaints from the nurses because when Annie would call in the middle of the night with an emergency, she would insist on talking to the physician. "Get him out of bed." "Oh no, we can't do that. I'm not getting off the phone until you get him out of bed." And she persisted until she got what she needed. She was later elected to the board of directors, and this was in a time when oftentimes the board would come to town and were seriously conflicted between their duties as board members and enjoying the good life in Nome. Every morning when the boys would straggle in a condition not really fit for governing, she would scold them and tails between legs, they would get their act together and return the next day. Her qualities that she exhibited, she was absolutely courageous. She was fearless, never intimidated, and when she spoke, she reminded me of the E.F. Hutton ad. She would speak quietly, but the room would get very quiet, and everybody listened. Alice Rogoff is wearing tonight a parka that was done by her daughter Christine, who Alice has encouraged for years to get into skin sewing, and she began with this as a copy of a parka that her mother had made. You can see Alice with details of how to order these. So thank you for honoring this truly remarkable woman with such wide-ranging talents. The family is truly honored. Thank you.